Okay, we are recording. Well, hello, that is the Spanish presentation. Sadly, I do not speak Spanish, so I'm going to revert back to my English presentation. Welcome to the HEB-ISD Pre-K Parent Advisory Committee meeting. I'm so glad that you're here to join us today. We look forward to hearing your feedback about our pre-K program and specifically the family engagement programming within the pre-K program. We're going to look at high quality pre-K in Texas. What is it and why do we have it? How does kindergarten readiness come into play? Then we'll look at family engagement specifically in pre-K, the components that we have, the HEB strategies, including the family engagement plan and compact. As we review those, we'll look for places that need to be revised. And then at the end, we'll ask everyone who's participating to take a survey. And we'll also talk about upcoming events for this summer and this fall. So if you would, please sign in the chat box. That way we have a record of your attendance. This is important documentation for us. Mute your mic unless you're going to speak. And then out of respect for everyone, I'm sorry we even have to say this, but mind your manners on camera. It's easy to turn your camera off if you need to step away. And then we want to hear what you have to say. Just keep calm and share. So if nobody has any questions, well, does anybody have any questions? Hearing none, then we'll go ahead and get started talking about high quality pre-K, which of course in HEB is an expectation, but it is also a state requirement that we offer high quality pre-K for eligible 4-year-olds in our district. 3-year-old pre-K is optional, and currently we only serve 3-year-old students in our special education and early childhood special education classes. So Bill and Melinda Gates have this charitable foundation, and they said the first 5 years have so much to do with how the next 80 turn out. So you've heard that expression, you learn everything you need to know by the time you're 4. Well, this kind of goes along with that saying. The first 5 years are so critical, and they can have a high impact on the whole rest of a child's life. So we want to make sure that our 4-year-olds have the best experience and learn as much as they possibly can. The TEA's goal is for all Texas children to enter school with the foundational knowledge and skills to be curious, confident, and successful learners. In partnership with families, schools, and communities, TEA provides support for effective and aligned early learning opportunities, policies, and programs that support a highly skilled early learning workforce, provide resources that engage and support development of young children, and that provide access to high-quality pre-K. You know that in HEB, we always shoot to be high quality. In fact, we want to be above high quality if that's even possible. But the state has given us these 6 components of high quality pre-K, and this is how we define whether or not we are a high quality pre-K. So they expect our teachers to meet the high qualifications that are expected for pre-K teachers, and that means that they have an early childhood degree. And that's not just being early childhood certified. That means that they actually have the degree. So, and there is a difference. So every time we hire a teacher, we have to go through their college transcripts to ensure that they have the required number of hours in early childhood education. And if they do not have that early childhood degree or the required number of hours in early childhood classes, then they have to participate in our teaching and mentoring program, which means that they will have 75 hours of um, coaching and mentoring, and then they will also have to earn 75 hours of um, early childhood professional development. So we do our best to hire early childhood degreed teachers. However, when they're not available, we do um, offer everything they need for the coaching and mentoring program. We also have 11-to-1 ratio, um, and that means 22 students and one teacher and one TA. However, we have added pre-K to the District of Innovation grant, so now our um, ratio is, we have 23 students and one teacher, with the exception of our blended classes. And in those classes, we have 5 seats reserved for special education and students with IEPs. And then that also gives us an additional teacher assistant in the classroom. So in our blended classrooms, we have 1 teacher and 2 teacher assistants. Then that brings us to our curriculum. We follow the TEA pre-K guidelines, which have been recently revised, and so we are working diligently to update our curriculum to reflect the new guidelines. Progress monitoring is an important piece of pre-K. So we use CLI Circle progress monitoring for reading and math, as well as social emotional and writing. And so this helps us measure our students' progress throughout the year. And we'll talk more about those results, at least the ones we have so far for this year, later on. Then we also have a family engagement plan. So high quality pre-K requires that we have a family engagement plan as well as a pre-K learning compact. And we will be looking over those later in the presentation to see if we have any changes or upgrades that we need to make. And then finally, at the end, we'll ask you to complete a pre-K parent survey. And then we also use a high quality pre-K checklist to evaluate the quality of our program. So our goal is to always have the highest rating on the rubric, and we work hard to maintain that high quality pre-K status. Kindergarten readiness. So in HEB, we work hard to keep the main thing the main thing. And of course, getting ready for kindergarten is one of the main things. So we want our students always to be able to dress themselves, button, zip, and snap. We want to make sure that they can handle all their own restroom needs. We want the student to be able to verbalize his or her needs and wants. In kindergarten, they will no longer take afternoon naps, and so that is something that families are able to practice over the summer, is having their children stay up all day. And then, of course, we want our students to be able to eat their meal in 20 to 25 minutes, because that's all the time they will have in the cafeteria. Additionally, pre-K prepares students to learn how to take turns with their classmates and their peers. We teach them to sit still and listen to a story for 5 minutes or more. We want them to be able to say, recognize, and write his or her first name. And we want to make sure that they recognize some letters and numbers, and that the student appropriately grips the pencil or crayon and handles scissors and glue independently and appropriately. So these are just a few of the things that we try to make sure that our pre-K students know and are able to do by the end of kindergarten, because there are many, many more things that we teach in pre-K that will better prepare students to be successful in kindergarten and beyond. So just know that our teachers and our teacher assistants work very hard with all of the pre-K students every single day. So remember, I mentioned that we would look more at some of our assessment data for this year. And I'm very pleased to share this information with you because uh, it shows that our program is helping our students learn new skills that will be helpful in kindergarten and beyond. It also shows that our students are making progress throughout the course of the year. And you can tell right now by looking at the three different columns that say BOY, MOY, and EOY. That stands for beginning, middle, and end of year. And we don't have our end of year testing completed yet, so we don't have our end of year data on this chart. But if you look at rapid letter naming, you'll see at the beginning of the year, we had 50% of our students on track. And at the middle of the year, we had 78% of our students being on track. So that is fantastic progress, and we look for that to be even higher by the end of the year. Rapid vocabulary, we went from 40% on track to 56% on track. Again, very, very significant progress throughout the year. And you might ask yourself, so what happens if my student is one of those in blue that still needs support? So then if your child is one of those students who still needs support, then the classroom teacher and the teacher assistant are going to they're going to use the information they receive from testing to provide that additional support during small group instruction or even one-on-one instruction. So children will receive the additional support that they need on the skills that they are still scoring low on. If you look at overall phonological awareness, we have 50%, 56% on track at the beginning of the year, and now we're at 71%. In math, we started out the year at 79% on track, and then at the middle of the year, we're at 87% on track. Under social emotional, this is a very interesting statistic. It shows 97% at the beginning of the year and then 90% at the middle of the year. That is a decline. However, it's important to note that the criteria for being on track changes and becomes much more demanding or strict. And so the percentage did drop a little bit there. However, we do hope that at end of year, we are able to regain that higher percentage. And then for early writing skills, you'll see that we improved from 82% to 86%. So something for you to keep in mind is that with CLI, this is not like a traditional kind of report card grade where you would say that a student has an A or a B or a C. So when we look at CLI data, we have to keep in mind that it figures in the age of your child as well as where they need to be on the rubric for the skill that they're being tested on. So these percentages are not, they are set on they reflect a moving target. So for each administration, the target changes a little bit as well as the child's age. So no matter how you look at this data, you see that we have increased. Our students are making great progress, and we hope to see that pattern continue at our end of year data analysis. Any questions about the data? So pre-K, in family engagement in pre-K is one of those 6 components that we saw back on the requirements for a high quality pre-K program. The family is defined as adults and children significant in the child's life who support early learning and child development. So we want to make sure that this definition is all inclusive. So it doesn't specifically say parents, because sometimes you have children who are being raised by grandparents or aunts and uncles. They might be in foster homes. Um, there are a variety of different adults taking responsibility for raising children within the family. And so we just want to make sure that that definition is all inclusive. So we have 6 components in family engagement that are essential for high quality pre-K. We need to facilitate family to family support, establish a network of community resources, increase family participation in decision making. And that's what we're doing here today. As we go through this program, you will have an opportunity to look at our family engagement policy and plan, as well as our pre-K compact, and then you will be able to help us make changes to those as you see fit. And keep in mind that we listen to what everybody says, and then after we've had all of our PAC meetings, we put that information together, and we determine what changes that we need to make. But we have to look at all of the data that we receive from parents. And then we work hard to equip families with tools to enhance and extend student learning and student achievement. And we provide ongoing professional development for our teachers so that they know how to support families in meeting their child's learning benchmarks. And of course, we evaluate our family engagement efforts, and we use those results to continually improve. So these are the first 2 pages of our family engagement policy and plan for pre-K specifically. There's another family engagement policy that is for the whole district, but that encompasses grades pre-K through 6. It is a general policy and plan. It is not specific to pre-K. So high quality pre-K requires us to have a specific pre-K policy and plan, and it can be built into the district one, but then that makes it it doesn't stand out as much as we really want it to for pre-K. So when you look at page 1, what you see is a definition of what TEA sees as the purpose of family engagement in the pre-K program would look like, as well as the definition of family when you refer to family engagement. And then, so on the next page, in the first column, you see that we have the 6 components listed and numbered. And then in the column on the right, we have the pre-K department family engagement plan. And where we have an opportunity to put links for things, then we do, such as the district parent academy, the application for free and reduced lunches. There's information about HEB Reads, and then free summer dining program, community resources. All of these are family to family support opportunities. And notice that number 2 says school-wide, in-person, or virtual hands-on family engagement activities. And then pre-K specific in-person or virtual, that's a repeat. So that's something that we need to fix. And I'm just making a note of that right now. Oh, I see the difference between the 2. So number 2 is school-wide, and number 3 is pre-K specific. So for example, you might have a pre-K through 6th grade math night, or your pre-K teacher or teacher team might actually host a math night just for pre-K families. So that's the difference between those 2. It seems repetitive unless you really pay attention to the beginning. So then if you look at number 2, well, before we go any further, does anybody see any issues with number 1? And I can't see you guys. So if somebody could unmute and respond, that would be great.
I don't think there is any comment.
Okay. Also, be sure that, or please know that you can put your comments in the chat box. And so if you see any comments pop up in the chat box, then would y'all please let me know. Number 2 is establish a network of community resources. And
Excuse me, Miss Kelly. Can you make a little bigger to, attendance to see better? A little bigger because it's very small, the letters.
let's see. Can you still see my screen?
No, I think so. Now it's better.
Does that help?
Yeah, it helps a lot.
Okay, so here we are. We're looking at number 2, establish a network of community resources. And you can see here are many resources, beginning with the PTA closed closet that we have available to families. And these are all live links that will take families out to those websites. It's important to note that this one that is not linked, it says partnering to empower young children, a partnership between HEB ISD and local preschools and child care centers. So this is an annual event where we provide training for local preschools and daycares, because we know that the students that they are serving currently will eventually end up in our classrooms. And so the more we help them, then the more they can help us. Let's move on to number 3, increase family participation in decision making. Pre-K families will be invited to participate and serve on parent-teacher conferences, ISTs. Those are instructional student team meetings, ARD committee meetings, which is admission, review, and dismissal from special education. So then there are a variety of parent advisory committee meetings, including the one that we're having today. The DPAC is the District Parent Advisory Committee. The CPAC is the Campus Parent Advisory Committee meeting, and the PK-PAC is ours that we're having today. We also have language assessment proficiency committees. Those are LPACs. So families are included in making decisions about their child's education on a regular basis in HEB. And that is something that we are very proud of, and we hope to continue. Then our district customer satisfaction survey. We've already completed the one for this year. It usually is available sometime in the middle of the year, so that we can use that information to help us plan for the coming years. We also have a pre-K program survey, which we'll look at here at the end of this meeting. And then our family engagement feedback collected after family engagement workshops and events. So as teachers are providing these workshops for families, then they are often taking what we call plus deltas, or they're checking for things that they could do better. Everybody has their own way of doing that. And then today we will be asking you for feedback on the pre-kindergarten plan and compact for family engagement. Number 4 is equip families with tools to enhance and extend learning to increase student achievement. So of course we offer pre-K kickoff, we have back to school meetings, we have technology and apps that use email, Remind, Facebook, Twitter, Seesaw, ABC Mouse, Talking Points, Swarm newsletters. All of these are things that we use to communicate and to provide additional support for families as they help their children at home. Then we also have district campus and classroom family literacy and math workshops, fall parent-teacher conferences, spring celebration of learning, which we are changing this year to pre-K celebrates learning. So we will need to make that update. Joey, would you make a note about that? And then summer learning activities such as HEB Reads and ELP summer school programs are available. The classrooms have lending libraries. We have kindergarten kickoff and registration, which is now available online. We teach families about conscious discipline. We also have the District Parent Academy that includes some classes that would be helpful for our pre-K families. And then we have bilingual family engagement classes at Shady Oaks, Bel Air, and Oakwood Terrace. And then every campus has a PTA. And finally, we do offer adult ESL classes for adult family members who don't speak English but wish to learn. And that's important here because when non-English speaking families learn to speak English, then they will be better able to communicate with their child's teachers and campus administrators. And so we include that as part of equipping families with tools to enhance their child's education. Number 5 is provide ongoing professional development. So we do that with our teachers every year. This year we had district PD days as well as pre-K curriculum previews, which are available online in the curriculum itself, and then department instructional planning meetings. And then finally, we have campus professional development work days where campus administrators who are the instructional leaders on their campus will actually offer additional professional development. So our teachers are very well trained and quite accomplished. And then finally, number 6 is evaluate the family engagement efforts and use the results for continuous improvement. And so that's what we do. We use our survey results to provide valuable information in planning, developing, and implementing pre-K activities for the district. And we will also use your comments to revise and review our district pre-K learning compact and high quality family engagement plan annually. So I am going to go. So at this time, I'd like to open it up to the floor to see what recommendations you might have for making things more user-friendly or easier to understand. So I am going to go back to our meeting and I'm going to stop sharing. That was a lot of information about high quality pre-K and the family engagement policy, and a very fly-by review of the policy and the plan. So what I would like to know is if anybody sees anything that needs correcting or improving for next year.
I'd like just to suggest a digital thing, which is to add a link to these documents, because when parents look at it, maybe it's small for them. So if we can share from the drive the documents, we just put a link for it in the PowerPoint presentation.
Yes, that's a good idea. And then I saw in the chat box, Beth asked a question. Websites like ABC Mouse, are they available for families to use? Joey, correct me if I'm wrong, but the answer is yes, families can use ABC Mouse at home. Would you like to talk a little more about that?
That is correct. They will have access once the child is enrolled and school has started to ABC Mouse. However, the district devices stay at school while they're enrolled in pre-K. So the parents, we're still working with technology to see how the parents will be able to access that for next year. But yes, to answer your question, they will have home access to ABC Mouse.
Great. Does that answer your question, Beth? Perfect. Okay, so one of the things that we will have to do is go back through the pre-K policy and plan to update all of the dates and make sure all of the links are still live and all of those things, but we will definitely do that. Does anyone else see any content or anything that needs to be, that you think we could improve on for next year?
I think this is a great effort. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay, so the next thing that we need to do is look at our, now can you see my PowerPoint again?
Not yet.
Not yet.
So let me go back and reshare. Okay, now you can see my PowerPoint again?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you. So now let's go to the Learning Compact. So one of the things that I have learned from Dr. Constantino is that he says, you know, if we knew the perfect ways to educate all children all by ourselves, we certainly would have done it by now, right? And so I think that is just a very transparent way of saying to our families that we all need to work together to help our children learn and grow and be the best that they can be. So in this compact, we congratulate our families for deciding to put their children in pre-K, because pre-K is not a required program. Children can certainly start school in kindergarten or even first grade without having attended pre-K or kindergarten. So it is a big step for parents to put their children in our pre-K program, and we really appreciate you choosing our program to begin your child's academic life. And we also know that parents are a child's first teacher, and that your home is their child's first school. And so we welcome this partnership, and we think that going forward it is a little easier for everybody to do their part if we all know what our part is. And so that's the purpose of the compact, is to say the parents and families will do these things, the child will do these things, and the school will do these things. And of course, for the children, you know, everything that we say we want them to be able to do, we keep those things developmentally appropriate, because, you know, we're not going to say that the child is going to read for 2 hours every night, because that's not developmentally appropriate, right? So let's start out by looking at the parent and family box. We say we would expect parents and families to commit to my child attending school regularly and on time. So it's very, very important that families know that attendance matters in pre-K as well as in every other grade level. Once your child is enrolled in school, it is then your child and your family itself become not liable, but you are required to follow all of the attendance policies set forth by HEB ISD as well as the state of Texas. We do ask that you check your child's folder every day for important communication from the teacher, or for graded papers or anything like that. And also keep an eye on Seesaw, which is our virtual platform. And then we ask that parents attend pre-K activities and meetings. And we ask you to keep all of your contact information current with the school, so that in case of emergency, you can be reached quickly. Then we ask children to take ownership of their own learning, be kind with their words, participate in classroom activities, and have fun learning, because pre-K is intended to be a lot of fun, and we look forward to them having that fun, because if they have fun while they're learning, they don't even realize they're learning anything, right? And of course, we do know that all children are different. And so sometimes some children may start out participating fully in the classroom activities, and other children are more shy. And so we try to meet the needs of all of our students and encourage them, our shy students, to participate more fully as the year progresses. And then we also encourage our really enthusiastic students and highly participative students at the beginning of the year. We encourage them to leave room for the other children to participate. So it is a fine line, but certainly we do try to meet all of the needs of the children in our classroom. And then as a school, we promise to provide high quality instruction, to communicate with your family and to assist your family with skills to help your child at home, and to provide a safe learning environment for your child. So you can see that these things that are listed here are all things that, if everybody does their part, then the end result is going to be a happy year in pre-K, as well as a lot of learning in the pre-K year. So at this time, I would also like to ask if you see any changes that need to be made in the compact. We've used this compact for quite a few years now, and I think that over time we have tweaked it some, but it has worked pretty well in the history of pre-K in HEB.
I think everything was covered.
You think so?
Yeah.
I
was
like
following
the
that.
simplicity of the compact. I think that it's appropriate for 4-year-olds and families of 4-year-olds. Okay. Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Who was that?
No, it was me.
Oh, okay. So that being said, let's go back to the PowerPoint real quick. That brings us to the end of our meeting. And so we would ask the families of our 4-year-old kiddos, or our future 4-year-old kiddos, to use this link to fill out the form. And I'm going to copy the link and put it in the chat box. So if you would please use this link to complete the survey, then that would help us greatly with our program evaluation. As always, I would just like to say thank you for your participation today, and I would like to invite you to reach out and ask questions and be an engaged family this year. We appreciate all the engagement that you have shown this year if your child is in pre-K this year, and we look forward to engaging with you if your child's going to be in pre-K next year. We also just want you to know that the pre-K department is here for you. Ms. Joey Martinek will be the pre-K coordinator next year, and we're very proud of her accomplishment here, and I'm confident that I'm handing this department over to the right person. So once you have completed the link, the survey, then you're free to go. I do see we have another question. Are there any resources that we should use over the summer to get a head start on learning? Oh, that's a great question. Besides ABC Mouse, Joey, do you have anything that you would recommend? I would say, obviously, go to HEB Reads and get your free books, and stop by the pre-K table, and we're going to share some activities that you can do at home over the summer, as well as provide an additional free book. But Joy, what do you think?
I would also suggest the books that we handed out, the pamphlets for the parents at pre-K kickoff. And if you weren't able to attend pre-K kickoff, the campuses should have some extras, maybe in their office, that you can pick up. But that pamphlet is aligned to our new pre-K guidelines, and it has different areas that you can work with your child and all the different developmental, like as far as social emotional, reading, early literacy, early math, and then just some fun things that you can do with your child over the summer. So definitely make sure that you have that pamphlet. And if not, reach out to our department. We have some extras on hand.
Also, that pamphlet will go home with parents at the end of the celebration, or pre-K celebrates learning. But if your kiddo is going to be in pre-K next year, then you won't be at pre-K celebrates learning this year.
That's a good idea for us to have here at the family center when we are testing those kiddos. So to
That's a
have maybe
wonderful idea, Glenda. And we
copies.
have some extra copies that we can certainly put over there.
I also inviting all the parents to visit our public libraries over the summer.
Mhm.
That's another thing that
Another
I'm doing.
idea. They have lots of story times and reading clubs, and of course HEB Reads is a whole summer reading program, so that's a great option as well. But they do a good job too, because we partner with the city libraries. They do a good job too of sharing information about what's going on this summer at the city libraries. Well, thank you all for joining me today, and I'm going to say that if there aren't any other questions, that we're all done, and we're able to adjourn. So thank you very much. Have a great rest
Thank
of your
you.
day and a wonderful
Thank you.
Thanks. Bye bye.
Thank you.
bye.
Thank you. Okay.
Bye bye.